It is Tuesday, and that means we're going to talk about Elko City news in advance of this afternoon's regular council meeting. Welcome, Jan Baum, our Elko City manager.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you for having me. Speaking of fun, right? Here
yes.
we go.
We appreciate the work that you do on behalf of the city, and we know that there are some exciting and, probably some challenging times ahead. We're going to discuss the budget a little bit today as the council is going to be looking at that. But among the first items on the agenda, I know the mayor is going to issue a proclamation, and the community is very proud of our Battle-Born Youth Challenge Academy, and they teamed up with Elko VFW Post for a very special mission recently, didn't they?
Absolutely, yes. So I would think that the whole community is thankful to the VFW and to the Battle-Born Youth Academy for painting the E. So, yeah, it looks awesome, and really glad that they committed to do that.
I'm glad that the city is going to be able to recognize the groups that came together, the wisdom and the energy that's needed to paint the E.
Isn't it the perfect partnership?
Definitely, yes. Mm-hmm. And so thank you. If you haven't checked it out, the Bright E on the hillside for Elko, and that doesn't get done by elves. I don't know.
I know, it's crazy, and I think it is the perfect partnership. I was telling Reese when I was in college, I was in a group that we would hike to the top of a mountain and paint the M, and so I think it's a cool thing for the Battle-Born youth, the youth academy to do, and I bet they had a good time doing it.
Definitely. That's what the students do at UNR. They hike up too, and paint the big U on the R, or what is
N?
that? N. Thank you.
Oh,
Nevada,
yeah.
I think it is an N. One of those letters. So, but again, congratulations. We are very proud. The Youth Challenge Academy has stepped up to a lot of community functions, and just want you to know that we notice you, we appreciate you, and we're glad that you're here. So thank you.
Absolutely. It's a great group.
So also on the agenda under presentations, there'll be an update. Oh, we're all excited about this, Jan. We see the walls are going up now. Utilities are going in for the recreation center.
Isn't it exciting? Yes, and I did hear just this morning that they're going to start putting more of the metal building up soon, and so it's just really taking form, and I think that everybody in the community is excited for that recreation center to be open.
So Rusty Barr from the Boys and Girls Clubs will be giving the presentation right at the top of the agenda today. And we all know how enthusiastic Rusty is. I mean, he shoots for the moon and ends up out there in Mars. I mean, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
So the Recreation Center's construction update is on the agenda, and it's also a necessity. It's something that we enjoy getting, but the city needs to budget for the coming year because there'll be a big transition.
Absolutely. So we need it both for budget purposes and personnel purposes, and so it'll be good to hear the presentation from Rusty, and then based on that, whether it be tonight or at a different time, I'm hoping that the city council will be able to make a commitment as well to say, this is the day that the pool will close officially for the city.
Yep, and a long legacy and history of delightful fun and really happy memories for several generations of Elko area residents and visitors. But onward to the new, it's the Nevada Gold Mines Recreation Center, and the Boys and Girls Clubs, they'll be employing the pool professionals going forward.
Oh, yes, they will be. And, we have a manager at the pool, Nikki Johnson, and she is just a really special person, and she does a great job at the pool, and she's been there for many, many years. And anyway, she has a special relationship with a lot of teenagers in town because she employs a lot of people for the pool and lifeguards, and so anyway, we appreciate her so much, and we appreciate that she's sticking with us through this transition.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate you, Nikki, so much. I want to say she started as a lifeguard. I mean, it's possible. I don't know.
I believe she did.
Yes.
And I truly should know that entire story, but I don't want to commit to it without knowing for sure. But yes, I believe she did.
We will know by the end of this era for sure, Nikki, so thank you. Also under presentations, this is something that you have worked very hard on, Jan, along with your cohorts on the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada, known as FAN, and that's to preserve preserve our SkyWest flights, and now we're on the doorstep of enhancing those flights. Well, I guess that's already started last week, right, with the midday flights.
Yes, the midday flight. That started on May 8th, which was a Thursday, I believe. And so that is going. And it's just been about a year since we've given an update to the City Council. And so I just wanted to give a little summary of where we are and the partners that we have on board, and some of the presentations we've done around town to try to bring together the public and private entities. We have quite a few public entities that have committed to the commercial flight at Elko Regional Airport, and so we've been working on bringing in private as well. And Elko County and Lander County and the City of Elko have all partnered to be part of the Flight Alliance. And anyway, so we have a promising outlook. I think that the MRG, although it's still higher than we would like, it is decreasing slightly. In 2024, the MRG was a little over $1 million. And so, but we have some positive, positive outcomes, or, a positive path going forward. We've got the CARJ 550 50 passenger plane that is consistently coming into our community. And we have the return overnight schedule that has been consistent for a little over a year as well. And so I think that some of the routine and getting the flights at the same time every day and the same plane and all of that is really helping us with our MRG. And I think that, there's nothing but promises, and, there's just a promising outlook in the future. So for the commercial air service in Elko.
Jan Baum is our Elko City Manager, and Fan has been making presentations, as she mentioned, talking about the significance of access. It's a priority for both government and private sectors, and this strategic plan that really supported the grant that the city was successful in receiving, the Small Community Air Service Development Grant. That's also on the agenda today.
It is, yes. So one of the, I don't know if it was a requirement, but it was something that they gave weight to, is if a community had a Flight Alliance group that brought together private and public entities, then they did give more weight to those communities. And we have that organization set up. So I think that maybe that was part of the reason, I'd like to say, of why we got the SCASD grant. And that SCASD grant will help pay for a midday flight.
Yes, and looking forward to the $800,000 that can be used, again, to enhance daily service between Elko and Salt Lake City with marketing support. Again, paying for those flights as the minimum revenue guarantees require. The county of Elko pitched in $500,000. I think the city on the agenda is going to be asked to contribute the same, even though the city's already contributing a significant amount in other ways, right?
Absolutely. So, but yes, as far as a membership into FAN, the Elko County has committed a $500,000 membership. Lander County has committed a $250,000 membership, and the city of Elko also has before committed a $500,000 membership. It comes in a couple different forms because the Flight Alliance does get a portion of the room tax, and that portion comes to about $375,000 a year. And so that is the request on the agenda today, that if the City Council will commit the extra $125,000 membership fee in the general fund budget.
That's fantastic. The Elko City of Elko operates the Elko Regional Airport, again, which is an important asset to communities throughout northeastern Nevada, and offers this commercial air service, which we've been able to retain and enhance even throughout COVID and any other financial challenges. We do know, too, that we received an update from our Assembly member, Bert Gurr, in District 33. It looks as though he was able to successfully combine a couple of bills that are also pertaining to this issue.
Yes, absolutely. So I haven't talked about these bills for a while, so I'll have to bring it back into my memory bank. But so Bert has been vital for air service and really pushing for better air service, not just in the city of Elko or Elko Regional Airport, but for the whole state as a whole. And so his bill, which he has combined a couple bills. There was a bill by the, a flight organization in the state of Nevada, and they combined their bills, and it's to create a aerospace department within the state of Nevada, and there's just a lot of different states that have organized statewide air travel, commercial air travel, and like we have been talking about for years, it would just be really beneficial to all Nevadans to recreate that triangle of travel, of commercial air travel between Reno and Las Vegas and Elko Regional Airport. And, like you and I have even spoken, there's some really big assets and some really big things going on in Las Vegas that, Elko residents are helping pay for, and it's difficult for us to get there without a 7-hour drive each way. And so it would be very beneficial if we could fly to Reno or to Vegas. And then we all know that we're driving to Reno all the time. Many people will drive to Reno for one meeting that lasts an hour and then drive back or a few hours. And it's just really inefficient, and time is money. And so it would be really great to have a flight to Reno as well.
Yeah, for those of you thinking, yes, but there's Zoom meetings. Well, Zoom meetings work for some things, but some things have to be done in person. There are a lot of professional and medical services that require a person to be there in person.
Absolutely. And just, another example is the legislature. And there are some testimonies at the legislature that need to be in person. And, Jim Foster and I did it last year. We ran down there for a couple hours to attend the legislature and then drove back. But I think everybody has been guilty of going to Reno for a meeting or some event that lasted just a couple hours, and either had to spend the night or had to come back the same day. And it's a long day.
It is a really long day. And again, it does impact the economy in so many ways. We would see, an increase in tourism and travel. Certainly people staying in our motels, hotels, attending events and activities. When I first moved here, you could fly to Reno. I mean, we've had that opportunity in the past.
It was just wonderful. I remember that when I first moved here as well. And people could run down to Reno for a meeting or a ball game or whatever, and fly back. And when Delta went away from what they used to hop flights, and they would hop it from Salt Lake to Elko to Reno, and they went to more of a hub and spoke type flight pattern, and so that took that hop away. And so if we can reestablish it somehow, and if FAN can get enough funding and get some interest in some Reno flights, we'd love to look into that as well.
We just need that support from our lawmakers if we can get it. But honestly, Jan, the future looks bright. All of this groundwork that's been done, Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada, attracting all the regional interest and support, the financial support, at least we have the flights that we have. I mean, we should be so appreciative that SkyWest has continued that, because... Oh,
absolutely. They're a great partner. And there is a map out there, and I haven't seen it for a while, but during COVID, there's a map of all the communities that lost their commercial air service, and we luckily did not. Once you lose commercial air service, it's very difficult to get it back, because not only do you have to get back the commercial air service, but you also have to get back the TSA and all of the employees to go with it. And so we have appreciated SkyWest and Delta. They've committed to our community, and they're a great partner for us.
Talking with our city manager, Jan Baum. This is all in advance of this afternoon's regular council meeting. The meeting opens at 4 o'clock today. It'll start with those presentations we described earlier. And we're still on presentations, as a matter of fact, but we did skip around a little bit because the airport is on the agenda today. And we just wanted to remind people of some really significant opportunities, a lot of good work that's paying off in these grants. Anything that we missed on the airport, Jan? I think we're doing okay.
I
there.
don't think so. I think we got most of it. Yes, Jim Foster is actually working on his ramp project right now. It's a $5 million construction project, and that's going very well. Phase 1 is done, complete. The plane is driving on it, and it's crazy. I went out there Friday, and it's just moving along so well. And Jim's, of course, doing a great job. And so they're on phase 2 and cutting cement, and they'll replace that cement with 15 inches of asphalt.
That's really nice. I heard that those panels lifted out quite easily, so I don't want to jinx anything.
Absolutely, it's crazy.
Isn't
I
that
just
great?
went over these huge panels of cement and just picked them up and got them out of there. So it's good.
So moving on to the next item on the agenda, after the presentations, there will be more of a dive on the budget. The final budget is due by May 30th and will be presented, obviously, to the council at the May 27th meeting. But there are some things that kind of stand out on the budget, and Jan is perfect to talk about this. She is our former financial services director. Julie Davis does the heavy lifting now and has put together amazing presentations for every single meeting. And Julie is very serious, and she goes in and talks to each department. And I think the word that was used is she scrubs this budget, right, Jan?
She absolutely has been scrubbing the budget. So when we first presented the budget to the preliminary budget to council, we could see that the revenue is definitely decreasing. So year over year, we're down about 9%, a little over 9% from prior year, which we were not expecting. And so this year, actually, we will be creating a budget that goes back to our 2021 revenue levels. And costs have gone up since 2021, most definitely. And we're getting to where our budget is almost 80% labor and benefits. And so it's difficult to scrub the budget because most of it's labor. And so, but she has, and she's done a really good job. And so, honestly, we have a great team, and everybody pitched in, and so we have decreased our expenditures a little bit, and she's also has a better estimate of what our fund balance will be at the end of June 30th of 2025. And so while we're going to end with a pretty good fund balance of a little over 10 million, but unfortunately, our budget fund balance is going down $5 million this year, and so we can't sustain $5 million a year. So we'll see how the revenue comes in 2026, fiscal year 2026, and see how the sales tax comes out at the state with their new computer system, and if there's a makeup or anything that comes about, but we're going to budget as if there's not going to be.
Okay. And we do know, again, it's a serious consideration. We've seen cities already in northern Nevada, I think Sparks and even Reno, they're looking at multi-million-dollar, not deficits, but certainly declines. And Julie made a note here, too, that sales tax revenues were down 7% before implementation of that new revenue collection system by the state. Is that accurate? Or?
Well, that's what we're seeing. And
okay. I don't know where it's going. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't make sense to me. I do think that we should be flattening or decreasing a little bit right now because we had two very large construction projects that were going on in the city of Elko, and both of them were pretty much completed by the end of 2024. That was the Sandvik building and, of course, the temple. And but those were going on in July and August, so it didn't really make sense to me that our sales tax was decreasing at that time. But we haven't got a lot of feedback from the state. We've asked a lot of questions, but we haven't got a lot of feedback. So we are proceeding with what we have and the revenue that we've received.
Right, and I guess it's a fair question. I don't know the answer. I don't know if construction materials for any church are tax exempt. I mean, it's possible, but that's the big question: is how were the materials received and taxed for both Sandvik and the temple projects?
Yeah, and I believe that the construction materials, in my opinion, should have been taxed for the temple because they were purchased by a private business who was constructing the temple. We do know that churches are a nonprofit, and so they do not pay sales tax, but the construction company should have been.
All right. Mm-hmm. So the investigation continues.
Yeah, and maybe we just are decreasing in sales. It's just it doesn't make sense to me, but maybe we are, and I'm just missing something.
Well, Jan, we'll keep talking about it. And again, I know the residents appreciate the work that the team is putting in. And I think that another area that deserves a little deeper dive, just with the time we have today, because the city will be looking over this tentative budget, is the community service donation request. We know that this is going to go up a lot, probably in the next 6 months to a year to who knows how long, because we do know that a lot of our federal and state monies are going to be drying up for a lot of these agencies and nonprofits.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, and the remaining agencies that we have on our list are agencies that we have contributed to for quite a few years. And but if the budget continues, revenue continues to decrease, and the budget continues to be tight, I don't know if we'll be able to support all of our community partners, which we want to support them because they really do help with our community as a whole.
Right. We do know that some of them that have survived this latest round of their donation request, and again, we were comparing some of these numbers to opportunities presented by post-COVID because there was federal relief money, Jan. So that made that was a big bump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, and we were seeking community partners that were needing help during COVID, and so back in fiscal year 21 and 22, you're right, the donations were much higher.
So we can say that at least planned for FY26 going forward, California Trail Heritage Alliance, Committee Against Domestic Violence, Elko Area Transit Authority, known as Get My Ride, Elko High Homecoming Committee, FISH, Friends in Service Helping, Nevada Outdoor Schools, Nevada Rural, known as RSVP, the Senior Citizen Center, and Vitality Center will be getting, it looks as though the same amount that they received in fiscal year 25.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So those agencies are all secure for now.
If the city council agrees to it.
Yes, that's true. Mm-hmm. It needs to go before the council during this afternoon's meeting. So always advisable if you do represent any of those agencies, it's nice to be on hand because the council might have some questions or they just appreciate seeing you in the audience if you've not yet written a letter, for example, because then they can know that their donations are appreciated. So
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right, Jan. So that's just something else. Anything else that jumps out? I know that there were, the capital fund is I was going to say shrinking, but maybe not. Maybe we have some plans to spend some capital equipment.
The capital equipment fund is fairly healthy.
Yes, that looks okay. Good word for that. Thank you.
So it's a healthy fund balance, and that we have a couple big purchases that we're going to ask for council direction on. One is the buyout of the leases from Enterprise Leasing. That program just hasn't been what they had promised as far as their services and their attention to our fleet. And
that's for the police department, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we have a lot of vehicles there, but the majority of them are for the police department, and it's just really kind of caused a lot of confusion and disorganization. And so we're going to ask City Council if we can buy out of that program so we can exit it. And we'll see what they have to say about that. And the other thing is the first payment for the fire engine that Chief Johnston did. He prepared and presented a really nice presentation to council last meeting. And so we'll see what they say about that.
Yep, it takes 3 years to get a fire truck built anymore. So
right.
I watched a really interesting video on that too, on how, again, just the shrinking influence of companies that used to be in competition for these kinds of projects. Capital Ventures buy them up, Jan, and then there's just no competition. So that there's the incentive isn't there. It is.
Oh, that's too bad.
And then that pool of money just shrinks and goes up into some mysterious fund. So let's see, facilities fund. Oh, yes. So there will be, you're going to defer the police auxiliary building until further direction, right?
Yes, so we had a...
If the council approves.
If the council approves, yes, exactly. So we had a police auxiliary building in the budget for this year at about a 1.3 million. And the estimate for the construction cost came in a little over 1.5 million. And we still don't have the direction from the FAA on the bomb building that really kind of triggered this construction. And so we do have the design. We actually have a couple designs, and so which will be very nice to have for the future. But we decided, we're going to ask council if they want to defer that until we kind of have more direction from the FAA on that bomb building. And so we'll see how that goes. Plus the costs it's just so much. So we'll see how that goes. And then Vivian Wright gave a nice presentation last meeting on the proposed new animal shelter, and she would like, or LASSO would like to do some major fundraising for that animal shelter. And so in order to kick off that project, somebody's got to pay to design it. And so we're asking council if they would like to put that $250,000 possible, we don't know how much that'll cost, but we think that it'll cover a design and a site selection. And so we're going to ask council if they will fund that so that LASSO can get going on their fundraising. And then, yes, we do have a healthy fund balance there as well of about 8.3 million. And so that's growing, and that's our hope for it to grow. And hopefully in the future, that will be how we can afford a new city hall and or the police auxiliary building.
You're right in that Vivian Wright did an amazing presentation in appealing to the council and to the community. The fact is that LASSO is a nonprofit, and they would be able to do their own major gift campaign, which is also really thoughtful, just in the care and interest of animals. So they're willing to do that heavy lifting.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, she is willing to do that, which we are so appreciative of. With the police annex and a city hall on the board, we really don't have the room for a new animal shelter. So that LASSO wants to take on that, and Vivian wants to take that on. We are very much appreciative.
We want to have her on the radio. She's a pistol. She's great.
She's amazing.
Yes.
So she has a lot to say. She's great.
Yeah, she is a wonderful advocate. We will put her on the list to appear on behalf of the city again for LASSO. So Vivian, your presentation did not go unnoticed, that's for sure. And then the new city hall design, also money toward that, which again, I think it's had some people talking. They're looking forward to that. It might be several years out, so we shouldn't get too excited.
Exactly. Well, we'll see where our design firm, Lombard Conrad, where they can come out and see what their estimated cost of a new city hall will be.
All right. And so we do know that going forward, the council during this afternoon's 4:00 meeting is going to be asked to talk about the COLAs, cost of living increases for the non-represented employees, some new positions, which again, streamlining city government for both streets, public works, an assistant superintendent for streets and landfill, just increasing the grade so that person that takes on more responsibility can get paid for that. And then the police captain, which replaces 2 patrol officers.
Yes. So the current police chief, he currently has 2 lieutenants under him, and he thinks that, or he's proposing that he could add a police captain, and which would help with some of his managerial duties, and then and we have 2 patrol officer positions that have never been filled. And so those are the 2 that he would be willing to give up. And so, it's just a wash in the budget. And So I think the council will be open to that. And we're still in the middle of our recruitment for our police chief, since Chief Troughton is going to retire in July. We'll be sorry to see him go, but I'm excited for him.
Well, still recruiting for the police chief, but you have an announcement to make in filling the assistant city manager position.
Yes, I do, and I will announce that at council tonight as well. But we did go through a recruitment process for the assistant city manager. So as many of you probably know, Scott Wilkinson will be retiring. I think his last day is June 20th. And so we went through a recruitment process. We had some great applicants, and the successful applicant was Dale Johnson. Dale Johnson is currently our utility director, and he's really implemented some great programs at the utility department. And as many people know, he's in the middle of the meter project, which, by the way, they're on Chris Avenue right now. So if you live in that area, that they're doing that. And I do want to mention that with the meter project, and I'm going on a squirrel moment a little bit, but please know that those employees who are replacing the meters, they have on City of Elko shirts, coats, whatever, and they'll have badges. So if you have somebody in your yard or are messing with your meters or whatever that does not have that on, feel free to call dispatch and have the police come check that out. We had a discussion today in directors, and it appears that there's been some of that going on. And so just please know the City of Elko water crew definitely have on clothing that indicates they're with the City of Elko.
That's right. And they'll have vehicles that are marked.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes.
all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So-
that's important.
Absolutely. Dale's been very intent on making sure that every resident knows that they are with the City of Elko. So anyway, congratulations to Dale Johnson, and he'll be moving into that position once we fill the utility director position, which is open right now, by the way, and we have a few positions opened at the water and sewer departments. So if that's of any interest to you, please put in an application online, and we'd be happy to have you part of our team.
ElkoCity.com is the website. Again, recruiting for a utilities director to replace Dale Johnson, who has moved into the position of assistant city manager. So congratulations again to Dale. He was on the radio show recently, so very cool.
I believe he was, yes.
So he did not know. I don't think he knew at the time. So, yeah. We tried to get information from him, but nope, to no avail.
Good for him.
Yeah, he has got he's transparent, yet at the same time, he knows when it's important to secure the information. So.
Absolutely, because there's a process set up, and we have to complete it.
Absolutely. So, and just in closing, the budget discussion will include discussion of health insurance as well, the contributions and dependent subsidies, because we all know that that's also a rising cost. And and this isn't in a negative way, because people deserve, need, and expect their benefits, but it is a liability for the city because it's increasing for everybody. So
right, we actually had a really good renewal with Anthem for our health insurance. So we were able to keep the employee share of the premium for their dependents steady, and the City of Elko pays for the employee premium in 100%.
Well, congratulations. That's really significant, and that shows a lot of confidence on behalf of Anthem. So
absolutely, yeah.
All right. Well, anything else before we sign off? I think we covered a lot.
I know. I think we did. We only got through a little bit of the agenda, but those were the main, parts of the agenda, and I can't think of anything else, Lori, but thank you.
Absolutely. There'll be a final map for the Bergeron subdivision, I think. That's also, that'll be, that's exciting too.
Yeah,
so.
Bergeron Phase 3 is going to start, and that's up there behind Wingers, and we're just, Scott McRitchie does that development, and we're very thankful to have him developing in our community and creating more places to build homes.
Yep, and that's, of course, more revenue for everybody in the city. So there you are, throughout the community.
And homes for our residents. Right now that there's a shortage, and so we're so thankful that he invests in our community.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us. City Council meeting opens at 4 o'clock today. You can be there in person at City Hall on College Avenue, or you can follow along online at elkocitynv.gov, and that will get you a link to the live stream meeting.
Absolutely.
Jan Baum is our city manager. Thank you, Jan, for being on the program.
Thank you, Lori.